welcome to the Venus Vortex. I am Cara, I'm your astrologer and tarot reader on the channel. Today we're doing tarot. So I'm going to introduce the stones that you need to pick. So the first one is Citrine. The next one, which correlates with your piles, is the rose quartz. And the third one is crystal or clear quartz. So make sure that you pick your stone now and then pick the corresponding read, 1, 2, or 3. So firstly, we have Citrine. Citrine relates to Sagittarius, which is the godstone. So it is yellow in color and it relates to happiness, joy, and bliss, the bliss that you feel from the love of spirit. It flows through university and philosophies. It also relates to horse riding, so these can be some things that you could engage in to feel closer to God. The next stone we have is rose quartz. Rose quartz relates to the heart chakra, which is ruled by Leo. So it suggests royalty and loyalty. This stone specializes in helping you deal through trauma of the heart. So anything that you're holding on to, this stone can be really helpful in allowing release of those things. The next stone we have is clear quartz. Clear quartz or crystal helps you to clear out all of the chakras because it relates to all chakras. Clearing out all chakras means that you have a lot of blockages and you need the support of your entire body system. So moving your body will help greatly. It relates to God. It's the Godstone, so also religion can be helpful here. Hey pile one, you picked the Citrine stone. So here is your reading. I know I've been away for a little while, but I'm back now. Just had to clear out some energies myself. So it wasn't right to tarot when we've got blocked energies going on, working through trauma. So sometimes I go away, but I always come back with more things to offer you. So today we're doing a classic rose reading. It's actually my own style of reading. I'm one of the only people in the world who can actually do one successfully. Because of the complexity of the nature of the energy of the tarot. It's one of the reasons why I'm a specialist in the field. You have that, where the cards don't flow immediately. It's a sign of like witchcraft and people being jealous of your craft. It blocks like that. It's okay. It's usually people who use the occult for abuse. It's one of the reasons why astrology is used predominantly by royalty. Sorry, we've almost got the negative energy out, so hopefully these people can purge it. But often if you find things aren't flowing in your life, it can be because of that. People tend to use things that have systems of power for abuse to get off. It's a sad world that we can live in sometimes when people don't respect the power and authority, especially in the spiritual realm. There we go. All good. So this first card draw is about twin flames. And also, if you're not a twin flame, it will relate to marriage. So the core issue is marriage. Next card we have is the World. So this is your past actions. The World relates to Saturn, so it suggests traditions. So doing what we've always done and expecting a different result. Oh, only popped out. The Three of Swords in reverse. So that's your past feelings. About your past actions. So that is a card that often relates to grieving and loss. So it suggests that your actions to continue to do the same thing over and over aren't serving you. Yeah, those are the rest of the draw, so we're just going to put those here. And those two down here. Yeah. It's good to get that position just right. Good. Can be a little messy. Okay, and our back of the deck energy is the Nine of Swords. That relates to anxieties, and the Tower's under there. Magician doesn't relate, but the Tower does. So it suggests that we have a lot of anxieties, that we can't move through the trauma that we have, that we cause from our own behavior or patterns of the past. So it feels like we're never going to escape the past, that we'll continue to repeat this toxic behavior and toxic pattern over and over and over again relating to marriage. So it might be that you're running away from your responsibilities spiritually. It might be time to get married and we're having some anxieties about feeling trapped in that. So a loss of power feels also appropriate here because that relates to the Tower. You can see that the lightning that comes from God and the Spirit, and for those of you who are not religious, the universe. So that power is what you're afraid of, the spiritual mission, and that you'll fail in that mission. You may be experiencing lack of sleep because of it, which suggests that you do take this problem seriously. You do see the value of it. You do see the joy, the abundance, the importance of it. I love that there's a castle represented in the back here. So maybe you're marrying somebody of significant importance in society, and perhaps you feel like your quality doesn't match theirs. Which would lead to anxieties. Saturn rules anxieties. So it is that you've restricted your ability to grow here, because this is a card of growth in your past behaviors. So you need to reflect on what it is that you do that denies your heart space here. So the Three of Swords is about betrayal. This is about loss and grieving. So you've betrayed your values through traditional behavioral patterns, and that has led to emotional turmoil. And it suggests that you in the past are grieving this and still going through that process. So there is some acknowledgement of wrongdoing here, which is really important spiritually. When we own the things that we do, we can move through them better than when we deny them and pretend they're not there. So it does suggest you're spiritually awake and that you are spiritually working on this process. You are aware of it. And it suggests that the solutions are already in your head, but you don't have the control that you're maybe exhibiting, because you are using a discipline, but it's not productive. And that's leading to disappointment here, especially in your emotional heart space, because the cup is about the cup of spirit. It relates to Jesus. So my cup hath run over. It suggests that there's a lot of emotions that you're blocking here. So you do need to still continue purging, but it also suggests that you need to continue moving on. So much like the hand of God that's represented here, you need to reach into your inner wisdom, your inner knowledge, and be prepared to change it. Be prepared to walk the walk and talk the talk. That leads to the Emperor here. So it suggests that you have an inflated sense of self, a self-importance, or that you're not willing to bend to what everybody else is willing to bend to. So you may see marriage as a form of conformity, and that would somehow threaten your power that you have inside of you, because marriage is about compromise, and this suggests a certain amount of selfishness and restriction, especially in the self. So the Emperor here is Mars, suggests that you need to propel yourself through that energy. You need to explore your value systems and potentially be willing to compromise to succeed at this problem. The Page of Wands suggests that you do know everything that's already going on. You're very spiritually aware, but you're not necessarily prepared to purge through fire. So the Page of Wands and this staff represent fire. It's the fire of the spiritual realm. So you're looking at it and you're trying to embrace all it is to purge. However, you're not doing anything. Page of Wands is mentally, you're all there, but your actions are not reflecting the knowledge that you have of the spiritual realm. The outcome here suggests that the Eight of Wands, that you will get through it and you will find happiness in family dynamics. So it may be that there are some initial struggles. It sounds like there'll be a power struggle here because of the way that you conduct yourself. So it's difficult for people to get to know you on an emotional level, and that might be jarring at first. This feels like many arrows pointed to keep people away from you. So you may conduct yourself in a way that is aggressive or people find threatening. If people feel threatened, they're not likely to move with you like the water suggests to. And when you can release this need to protect yourself, which is also reflected here in the Saturnian energy, because it means defenses. So when we can let down our defenses, this is the result. A happy family life that you could build. And it sounds like that's what you want. At the core of you, you do want that more than anything else. You're just standing in your own way to get it. But let's have a look at clarifiers and see what else is going on. That's our initial read. One more good shuffle. That's a good shuffle. See, maybe the energy was clogged. So I wanted an extra one. The gift of intuition. And for dishonest also. So it could be that you feel like this person's full of it, but they're not being genuine. There's some kind of deception going on. So it could be your love interest here. You just feel like they're pulling you in for the kill, which is why you're being defensive. That's what the cards are suggesting in the shuffle. So I'm feeling like there's a lot of struggle, especially here, because this does represent the spirit as well. Spiritual energy that's around you and around this. I did see the death card pop out, which is echoing that sentiment. It means power and struggle relates to Pluto. So something might have to die, or you might feel like something has to die for you to like make space for this person. Let's see what the cards have to say. So this card this card deck does have different names. So this is called the Daughter of Cups, which is what's the other one? It's alright. Oh, sorry, it is Page. Yeah, sorry, Page of Cups. Yeah. Six of Pentacles. That's right. Had a brain block. Might feel that like this person leaves you a little lost for words. It makes you feel like you don't know. So that might be an abuse technique that they use. Three of Cups. If there is abuse in this relationship, or you're afraid of that, and that fear can actually block the flow of your mind. Yeah. There it is. Okay, I'll go through the cards in a second. Whoa. That one jumped out there, and these are for that one there. And then back of the deck to clarify. Yeah. Okay. I love it because this deck is relating to God's colors. Yeah. And you can see that as the universe for those of you who are not religiously inclined. Okay, or nature, however you kind of interpret spiritual energy. That's fine. We're all at different paces of spirituality in our lives. But just seeing this card here, the Four of Wands flipping, because this is a dark deck, it feels like this is the light energy and this is the dark. These are all the good things and they weren't that great. And this is all the dark stuff. And so it feels like this is even worse. But it feels like that's the fear that's going on here. So I've got the Four of Wands in reverse here, which is the reverse of this one here. So we're already seeing, like foreseeing disappointment in our emotional state. And then we fear that we'll be trapped in marriage. Okay, so that does reflect that I got the correct read here. Okay, the Page of Cups suggests that this is how you emotionally don't express yourself. Okay, fishes are represented by Jesus. So again, I'm not prepared to walk the walk because I don't feel like I'm emotionally in the space and readiness for marriage. So that purging of your emotional space, so needing to cry, needing to do things that help to trigger your emotional space. So it is a little bit like, make like a Cancer. You need to stay at home. You need to like cook for oneself, nourish oneself, care for oneself in a way that makes sense to you. So for some, it might be exercise and getting moving, but doing it in a gentle, watery way. So something like Tai Chi or stretching. It feels very low energy. Reading a book, the Bible's definitely heavily referred to in all of the cards. So that's a good one to start with, or just a storybook that you feel comforting and find comforting. That will help you to connect with this problem and prepare you. So your past actions clarified. We'll get to this. This feels like it needs to go last. Yeah. Yeah, but it does suggest that you have anxiety about home life and how that will go down. So you may have abuse in the past. And the Six of Pentacles says you don't have any opportunities, or you feel like you don't have anything of value to offer. So you may be in a financially different situation to your betrothed, or your love interest, depending on where you are in life. So the Six of Pentacles feels like there's no opportunity. Destitute is the particular word that comes to mind. So you may not have financial resources to spare to invest in someone else. The hummingbird, the nectar of the gods. So it may feel like all of the milk and honey of your life is missing, okay, because of the traditions that you have to uphold. So this suggests that your responsibilities, potentially to the world, depending on how important you are, may be blocking your ability to offer someone something, and you continue to pursue that over love, because the hummingbird represents love. So it may be your work that's holding you back. And it suggests work of the spirit here. So maybe helping too many friends. And this suggests infidelity. So there are two stories going on here. This suggests there's past trauma of cheating and being in the friendship circle. So not being seen as something that's desirable, because when people cheat, it makes you feel undesirable and unlovable. So this is something that you're probably still grieving. The other thing that it could be is that you're worried that this will happen if it hasn't. So those are the two stories that are coming up, and it may be that you've experienced both. So you'd be a very complex being if that's the case. So the universe's advice for you is that you need to work through these disappointments. Otherwise, you'll continue to be unmarried. You need to work through those emotional frustrations and those things that you feel, and your resistance to marriage. So you need to come up with a better attitude and understanding of what marriage could be. Perhaps dream a little deeper. So think of all the positives rather than focusing on all the negatives. Okay, we have the Devil in reverse with the Emperor. It suggests that you're worried that you'll be a slave and that your motivational energy will get taken from you. You'll feel that you're strong when you're by yourself, but with somebody else you feel chained to their story and what they want, their traditions, their life, their stories, and that maybe you compromise yourself too much, which is why you've overcompensated in this way with the Emperor. We have a heart with roses in a cage presented here. So it suggests that your eternal unfolding understanding of the universe is something that you keep secret from others in your heart. That's why this energy is blocked. It is a card that relates to Saturn, but that's the block of spirituality, and it's actually killing you inside. I love that this is representative of a bull. So perhaps you need to understand where you're full of bull and not walking the things that you impose on other people, and that you need to embrace the values that you are reflecting over and over. So very similar message. So this is just correlating that, and you've got to find out where you're putting yourself into slavery. So potentially self-sabotage is another thing that you might want to assess within yourself. So Page of Swords, Page of Wands. Mind. So the outcome that we're looking at is that it's all going to be in your head, and that you're struggling to make action, but it suggests that you can change this. It's just something that you've got an imbalance with mentally. So it's not that this is a bad path to choose marriage. It's just that you have some attitudes that are holding you back from spreading your wings and soaring like the eagle that's represented in the card here. You've held a battle axe for so long and had to be so strong to protect yourself that you're actually killing your spiritual ability to soar and excel. The advice is that instead of being defensive, like, keep your body moving, be more joyous in the way that you approach the activities that you need to do each day. It suggests that there's going to be a lot of burnout at first and you're going to feel very tired. Be prepared for that. It says that unionship and the relationship is not the most important thing. With the Two of Cups in reverse, the Emperor in reverse, and Justice in reverse here. The Justice suggests no relationship is best, and also you're blocking it because you're not ready. This says not ready, but you can be. You need to be ready mentally and preparing in everything that you do, so that way you can continue to keep this pathway open. So whilst you're not ready and it's not ready and it's mainly a mindset thing, it does suggest that you've still got some work to do. So everything echoes what you are preaching and thinking and feeling, so you can see them as fact, if that is in fact true. That'll be a message that makes sense to you. Like, it kind of came out like gobbledygook. So I feel like you say something stupid around this person and kind of go inside your shell again. Like, you don't know what to say, how to act, or what to be. So you might feel like particularly judged very heavily by this person all the time, and that you don't measure up. And that's something that you need to recognize, that you're just expressing you in yourself, and that's something that they obviously are very interested in, because marriage wouldn't be reflected if that wasn't the case. So they're very into you and you're very into yourself and where you're at. So you're not making space for them to be your emperor. You're blocking that opportunity for love, and you're unjustly being harsh on them. And that's stopping your ability to come into union, and that's going to hurt you for a very long time if that's the case. Mainly emotionally and mentally, yeah. The turmoil is kind of on you. So the Ace of Pentacles says that it's in reverse. The message is blocked. Okay, it's really interesting. I pulled it up and then the message instantly blocked. I'm gonna pull this card up. No. Okay, so that suggests that the read that I just gave is the read. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm sorry I didn't further clarify on this, but I did clarify it a little earlier, okay? Because I've obviously covered what needs to be covered here. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. Sorry, back quickly. I forgot to do final clarifying words. So just final pieces of advice. Let me grab that one. Yeah. Transformation. And on the back, Great Gathering, it's all coming together, intuitive hits and soul tribe. Okay, so definitely nailed the back. Love that when the spiritual realm tells you it's okay, you got it. Transformation. There are things changing at a cellular level. Deep healing. So it suggests that you're already making waves. They're small though. You kind of need a tsunami. This is Plutonian energy again. So again, going to the spirit, going to your psychology, potentially support systems that might be needing working on healing, so taking care of your health, are all going to be things that really help you. Also exposing yourself to a lot of water, so take many baths and take care of those aspects of yourself so you can come into union, because that's the focal point of this read. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to your reading. This is the Rose Quartz reading here on the channel The Venus Vortex. I am Cara, your tarot reader. So I am a tarot specialist doing a rose reading today. So we're going to identify the core issue that's going on in your life. So you felt drawn to this pile, so this is the one with the message for you. Feel free, if there are any drawings to any other piles, to go and check those out. Don't have to just pick one. And I'll let you know if there are any messages from the other pile, either throughout the reading, if there's any similarities, or if there's any similarities, I'll make a note of it in the editing. So that one wants to come out. There we go. Temperance in reverse, the core issue. So the core issue is impatience. I'm going to take these because they all flipped. So it went this way, but feels right to do it that way. Just letting you know. It is about the vibes and how things feel. Cool. That one jumped out. Okay. That card did come out, so did the Emperor in the first pile. This was in the same. The other was upright. So if you feel drawn to pile number one, go and check that out. Ooh. Okay, I just want to grab the top one, which has the Devil. Oh, the Eight of Wands came out as well for the outcome for pile the first, and the Devil is the second card that I want to grab. I'm putting the rest back and flipping it, and the Magician that came out also. So really similar energies, which is good because this is the advanced pile. So as they go, they advance in energy. So if you've picked this one, it suggests that you are moving along, but there's a lot of blocked energies. So whilst you may be progressing from issue the first, and it might be good to like go back and revisit that pile if you felt drawn, just because it helps you to conceptualize where this pile might be coming from, like the foundation. So what you've achieved and accomplished, and where you're at in your successes, and this is kind of where you're blocked. So where you feel like you're failing is kind of the Magician. It's a mental game, and sometimes we don't have the endurance for the mental game. So we can feel really exhausted, we can feel really stressed out. So it's about what you're doing with your hands and your thoughts. So often I suggest when people have blocks of the Magician, it's about doing very small, fine motor skilled and highly focused things. So little puzzles with small pieces, and concentrating ones that the 10,000 plus, They take a lot of time, but if it's your first kind of puzzle, maybe pick a smaller task, whatever's appropriate for you. And something that takes long, it's tedious, lots of concentration, and that helps to unblock this energy. Building ships in boats, doing Warhammer little figurines and painting them, those sorts of hobbies or something similar will actually help to unclog this sort of energy. So it is about having fun and about thinking about where you want to put your resources to be able to unblock this magician energy. So it feels like there's a lot of concentration block mentally. And I'm wanting to touch the selenite twice now. So it suggests that there's a lot of energy here to purge. These are purging stones. So I'll just grab one from the side here. So these are designed to purge and cleanse both your crystals and also your energy in all the chakras. So it suggests that there's an imbalance external to you in the universe that's actually blocking your ability to progress in the present. So it can be the presence of occult and magic and witchcraft. It can also be just an abusive figure in your life who's not allowing you to progress, and that can be financially, that can be spiritually, that can be emotionally. You don't feel like you're getting the support that you need to move forward. So of course, impatience. When we're not progressing and going and growing and moving forward really, really rapidly, it really does honestly suggest that we feel like we're not good enough, we got frustrated, and that actually blocks your co-creation with the universe. So we need to work with our environment, and we also need to ebb and flow with our environments. So the Temperance card is about patience, and it's Archangel Michael is what guides it. So he's heavily linked to this. So it means that you feel like you're not accessing your angelic energies. So singing is really good at blocking this. Attending church is another one. So singing gospel-esque songs, something like Amazing Grace, Ave Maria. If you're not an opera singer, if Hosier's Take Me to Church can be a little bit better. If you're into something more modern, Hillsongs do a lot of songs as well. If you're into the churchy vibes, I just thought I'd offer something that's church-esque without being churchy. For those of you who are not religiously inclined, or something similar that makes you feel alive in your spirit, maybe something that you can sing. For those of you who are vocally not as gifted, maybe some Betty Davis Eyes by some Kim Carnes, something similar like that. Bit of jet rock and roll, like just belt it out. So it feels like there's a lot of lack of hope and impatience, mainly impatience, but there is an undertone of I'm losing hope. So momentum is something that's really important to you. Moving forward, constantly achieving, constantly striving forward, okay? So in the past, there have been a lot of obstacles of the spiritual nature, okay? So it's not that God's like a cruel existence in your life. It's that you need these challenges to progress in many, many, many different areas of your life. Astrology teaches you the 12 wheels of life and your existence. You need to be progressing in each one, which is one of the reasons why you can't have it all. And you'll probably find that there's always an area that's off or multiple areas that's off. So your energy pathways are focused in, and your planets are always drawing you into certain areas to hyper focus in. But then there's you've got your transital energies, which is like your environment, and that pushes you into other directions, which pulls you away from your energies where you should be. Okay, so your group of influence here, why that's important is I feel like you're somebody who feels like you need to have it all, and it's about appreciating what you have already in front of you and simplifying sometimes. Minimalism is a lifestyle choice. Essentialism is a lifestyle choice. Like, are you getting your essential things? Is everything around you meaningful? If not, then it feels like you've got a lot of clutter. So this 9 of Wands in reverse is talking about the frustrations of all these things that you've accumulated that seem to add up to nothing. Okay? And that's what's taking away your joy. So it's a mental sphere, but it's also a physiological and a spiritual one. So you've lost something that's really important to you, and you're desperately trying to get it back. And the sun indicates that. Maybe it was a pet horsey. Or feeling the child nostalgia of like running through sunflower fields is something like that. Or picking dandelions and kind of blowing them off in the wind. There's something very whimsical about that, and you've sort of lost that whimsical feeling of your existence, which is really sad from these obstacles that have come in your way. And that can happen during challenges. The Emperor here is suggesting that it's a matter of ego. So here's Mars. If we're constantly propelling ourselves forward and moving, we're going to run out of energy. This is just a sign that the universe is going, it's okay to rest, you know. It's okay to breathe. It's okay to stop. Okay? As long as your whole life is not stopping, because obviously if we were, you know, Buddhist monks meditating with 24/7, 365, we'd starve to death. Right? You can't be inertia 24/7. You equally can't be moving 24/7. We need to sleep, we need to eat, we need to rest, we need to take care of our bodies, our fleshly prisons, if you will. So the Mars here in reverse, in blockage, is just saying that you need to stop and chill out. You need to get some emotional regulation skills, because the problem is frustration. And normally you just push it down, move forward and move through it, and go into these hypermanic or fake happy stages and to continue progressing. And you've come to a standstill because it's not genuine. All right, so the Queen of Cups suggests that your current solutions are not of the water. So there's a lot of firepower here. You've got a lot of like ferocity and a lot of Mercurial and Jupiter energies here. So really strong, like Sun, Jupiter, like Mars. You've got Mercury here, Saturn here. Okay, so there's some sort of immaturity that's going on. So I would suggest like fire sign energies based on all of those planets. Like you might be a fire sign, or your lover might be a fire sign. The person who is influencing this negatively is likely to be Saturnian and heavy in Saturn energy. Or they're just very mature and you're not. And so your energy is light and fluffy and airy-fairy and kind of moving through it. And theirs is like a heavier, more somber tone. And I think that that's causing this juxtapositionary crisis because you're clashing. Capricorn and Aries, for example, they square. So if you're both cardinals, that's natural for them to have a clash. But, you know, Mars is strong there. So you can find common ground. All right? And it's in your love of getting things done. So, and music usually. So those things are of the water though, in a lot of ways. This is suggesting not that, like more firepower, but a more calm and controlled firepower. So Sagittarius is about hitting up the social media, going out for walks, traveling, soaking up culture, eating different foods and variety of food, and learning about other nationalities. So traveling to places with different ethnicities even to you can be like traveling to another country. So perhaps traveling somewhere like that. A lot of cities tend to have like a Chinatown in your major city. So you could go there instead of going to perhaps more of the watered down societies where we're not as cultural. Because yeah, I find if that's, depending on what your nationality is, of course, you might find that going to the wider woods might be more appropriate. Just depending on what nationality it feels without sounding racist, white, or Caucasian, I should say. So Caucasian areas, maybe try Asian or African American, different neighborhoods, might actually help you to understand something different, even without having to travel outside of your country, because it feels like you don't have a lot of resources at the moment. So getting creative, going to a museum, learning about different histories, which is what this card here is talking about. So you've got a grieving and a loss, but it feels like this is transient and that you can get through it really easily. The devil here just suggests that you're lacking the disciplines and the foundations at the moment to move forward. So it's just about skilling up and having patience. Yeah, I know, it's frustrating. Let's get some clarifiers and see if we can get some more advice for you from the spiritual realm. It's a part of homeostasis. It's a part of a natural function of our existence, is that we have to stop. We have to breathe. We have to take care of ourselves. We can't come first in every race. Okay? Michael Phelps did, but there were plenty of other people swimming against him who didn't. It's important to know that they had goals too. Goals, dreams, desires, aspirations. And they had to deal with their losses as well as you are dealing with yours. And whilst you might not be at a worldwide scale at the thing that you do, or maybe you are. Hi, Michael Phelps, if you're there, watching my channel. Shout out. Or other fellow Olympians trying to beat your record or whatever. If it comes through, maybe that's relevant. But aspirations of the water as not suggested at the moment, so maybe wait on that goal. If you've got an injury from sporting, that can be really upsetting. Mentally visualizing it, you might be frustrated in doing that. Actually helps to keep muscle tone when you're injured. Doesn't feel like that's the issue, but maybe it's about conceptualizing a different way of achieving your goal. Because the doing's blocked, the thinking's blocked, the feeling doesn't feel great. So I can imagine that you're just going through a lot of inner turmoil. Sometimes you can be doing everything to fix your problem. That's the Two of Pentacles and the Six of Wands, clarifying the Temperance in reverse. Yeah, you can be doing everything right and still not get there. Son of Swords. That's the Knight of Swords. This deck's a little bit different. We got the Four of Swords and the Mother of Swords. Ace of Swords, Nine of Swords. Let's get the rest of the draw. Yeah. Mother of Pentacles, Daughter of Pentacles, Five of Wands, and the Strength card. Oh, there we go. All right. And the Star for the back. Let's have a look at these two. Temperance and the Seven of Wands. Okay. Love it. On fire with the read. Okay. I'll do the back of the deck. Yeah. So the Hanged Man. Okay. Son of Cups. Okay. You're in your feels at the moment about somebody and kind of losing time thinking about them. And you can't really get them out of your head. That's kind of the background issue that's going on here. And it's so sweet. There's nothing but like sweet, beautiful energies. Like you're kind of looking up at the stars and dreaming of them, and your heart and soul's kind of crying out to them. You want to charm them, romance them, and it seems like they're completely distracted in this like rainbow waterfall. It doesn't mean that they're not thinking about you, but they're kind of out of this world, out of your league, and out of the same headspace as you. So their readiness is not matching your readiness, and you're just feeling really frustrated. Okay. That's all right. Two of Pentacles, Six of Wands, Temperance and Reverse. So you're really impatient. You want a victory soon. You want to come together. And join their houses and join your finances. Okay. So you feel like the opportunity is always there. You feel like the opportunity you can just generate out of nowhere. But you're feeling a little bit unlucky in your pursuits and in your advances. So perhaps it's making your presence more known, which is this eagle that's here. It's a small eagle. It's a wedge-tail eagle. Yeah. So I actually grew up with a wedge-tail eagle nest, and I actually climbed in it as a small kid, and it's humongous and very well architecturally built, and it was kind of amazing to see the marvels of nature and how clever they are and how much weight they can hold. It was a cubby house. Look out for a little bit. And when you think about birds, they're really light. They can fly, but then, you know, a wedge-tailed eagle is big enough to carry a kangaroo, which I have no idea what that has to do with the point of this reading. But I feel like maybe you're in awe of this person. Okay, I've gotten there. That you just marvel at all the things that they're able to create. And you're really quite dumbfounded by how they can provide for themselves in such scarcity and such strange times, and kind of frustrated that you don't embody that in all its fullness as well. And you really, really want to learn from them. Because the Two of Pentacles is to learn. You feel safe and secure, like they could always provide for you and help you to be victorious. Like they can feed your fire that's inside of you and help you through this block. That is so sweet. I hope it works out for you. For those of you in love, I should say the Two of Pentacles means that you've got your 2 cents on the issue. You already think you know what the solution is, and that you're going to be victorious. So this impatience, it just suggests that it will pass. Okay. In the past, you normally just think your way through the situation, move swiftly, and are kind of aggressive in the way that you approach it. And approach your issues much like a wasp, just constantly striking, going. I know this is actually a bee, but for me, it feels like a wasp energy. So that's your past energies. And at the moment, you're too run down to actually get that done, which is where your frustration's coming from. So, I mean, your past actions and your thoughts and your feelings are normally like you hide away and run away. Whereas I want you to look at this as just rest time. Okay, you've physically exerted yourself, you've mentally exerted yourself. You're gonna have burnout if you don't continue on. Okay, this suggests burnout. So rest, recuperate, find more gentle activities that are still progressing and moving forward, that are still physical for you, right? The Mother of Swords is the Queen of Swords. So traditionally it's about like cutting out things that drain you of energy temporarily being resourceful with your energy while it replenishes, and then you can think about re-exerting yourself, because it seems like that's where your happiness is. Okay. All right. Don't feel like slowing down means that you're giving up on your goals. I think it's a psychological shift that you need to readjust to, because you're so used to sitting on your throne and being in charge and being in control of everything, and it feels like this spanner in the works is caused you a lot of anxiety, caused you a lot of grief, but you just need to come into your wise mind. You need to become more centered. You already know what that is. Again, for some people it's meditating, for other people it's like going for a swim or Tai Chi or something like that that just zones you out. You need to think about activities, and also having a range and variety of activities. So you need some for like your chill out, rest, recovery time, and then you also need some for your ramped up heaps of energy times, and something in between to kind of bring balance, and kind of doing a variety of activities and making sure that there's a variety of movement between those things. I think that will help you greatly long term for your success, because this feels like boom bust energy is. And I am genuinely sorry that that's hurting you so much. The Mother of Pentacles here, again, to nurture oneself, to rest, rejuvenate, recover. It's very much, but it's a comforting energy. So it's about comforting, it's about being around wild bunnies. I don't know why that's coming through, but that's what I'm hearing. So maybe you need to go to a local forest and kind of where there's a lot of bunnies hopping around, and their cute little fluffy tails is something that you enjoy. So continue doing that. If you do that, or if you haven't done that in a while, maybe it's worth splurging on a bit of money for fuel and going out and being one with nature, or like go for an exceptionally long walk if you've got no money for fuel. There's nothing wrong with that. I hope you can get back. I'll send you thoughts and prayers and good energy for being able to do that, especially with this eagle here. Again, rest is different for different people. Some people are hardwired and need to stretch instead of running a marathon for their rest. It's just getting in touch with who you are and thinking about it in a different way. And the Daughter of Swords, again, thinking and investing in a different way to how you normally would is what you really need to be building towards. So make sure your investments reflect your personal character, because it sounds like you're a force to be reckoned with, naturally. And this grieving process, you've got the strength to get through it. You are in a lot of conflict at the moment. So this is a womanly energy. But it's transformation. You're not sure whether you're ready to change and be the leader that you're designed to be. Especially if there's a woman-man situation, whether you can be her king. And you're kind of frustrated because you felt like you were there, and you're realizing that there's all this growth that you need to do. Okay. That's all right. We can have resistance to change. We can have resistance to growth. That's really normal, because they challenge who we are, and they can challenge our faith as well. The Seven of Swords here is dream big, and you will find your patience, and you will find your Jupiter energy again. You'll find your hope. So whilst you're not going to move or progress, there's too much resistance energy. Okay, there's too many resistances. That's what the universe is saying. It's unlikely that this situation will change per se, but you need to focus on getting lots of sleep and finding ways to express your faith and what feels right for you, and finding practices of patience. So Maybe it's when you get your groceries, tolerating them, putting your items in the bags a little bit more rather than doing it self-service. Save your energy, allow somebody to invest theirs, and practice a small amount of patience, waiting in line, things like that, breathing through that process, and rewarding yourself with comfort. Especially if you're not financially that well off, it looks like you are. So treat oneself after you've done the good patience thing. There's nothing wrong with being a little like a puppy when you're in training and you do a good thing and then have a treat, do a good thing, have a treat. There's nothing wrong with that, but you have to slowly wean the treats away over time as you solidify this practice. So maybe investing in that way of going about it. There's a lot of just advice. Many pathways, many energies going on, but it's pretty much the universe saying you've got it. Like, you've got most of the foundations and all of the hard work done. So it's just about being patient and dreaming bigger. A little bit more faith. Like, there's nothing huge missing from you here, which I think is such a beautiful, refreshing change of pace. Usually it's, you're a mess, everything needs changing, kind of reads. This isn't like that. The universe is going, a lot of you is just perfect just the way you are. And I think that that's so sweet. I think maybe you mentally resist how special you are. So the universe is just like, you've got it, I love you, like, we're working on it. There's just not enough energy right now, okay, for both you and the environment to work with you. So even if you're feeling super energized, sometimes there's no energy pathway there yet for your success. So you're going to be the mover and shaker that creates it. Especially if you're moving into like Aquarian energy and you're the first. You're doing the first of something. So universe is just saying the same thing over and over, which is great. Deep replenishment, rest, retreat, be held, okay? And soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Okay. There's a lot of, here's some prayer energy or meditation energy, a lot of coming into center and also coming into your heart space. Having the intelligence to know what is right and what's wrong with you. You've got your ruthless edge. You've got your little sharkiness to you of, I go for the things I want in life. So there's plenty of that, which is great. I love that this is all mirrored as well. So reflecting in the mirror helps you to just go, okay, if I've got everything, all my ducks in a row, everything's perfect, I love it, I love my life, I love how everything's going, then it's just about learning to breathe through this challenge. You know, the whale's up in the air. What goes up must come down, you know, and it's a beautiful display of courtship. So it suggests that that's where you're at the moment. You're wooing and you're not getting your results straight away. Don't worry about that. Have some patience. They're in it as much as you are. And they might need their ducks in a row and don't feel like they can meet you. Okay, because these whales are this way, but mentally they are, physically they aren't. The whale is all about the physicality. Okay, so mentally they are, and soulfully they are. So they're very invested in you. They're ruthlessly coming after you as much as you are them. It probably just doesn't feel that way because there might be some slight miscommunications and misunderstandings with how they express themselves, and you feel like there's a rejection there that isn't. So you just need to learn how to get your communication waves on the same frequency because they use sonar and maybe you don't yet. But that's okay. You'll learn how to speak their speak. All right. I hope that was really helpful. Bye.